Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I've got a challenge for you. I'm going to be playing 3 different acoustic guitar recordings, one through a large condenser mic, one through an amp and one through my audio interface. Do you think you can tell which is which? Alright, keep your answer in mind, we'll come back to that later in the video. Today we're answering a question I know a lot of people have: do you actually need one of these, an acoustic guitar amp, or is it just a waste of money? To help answer that, I'll be showcasing and kind of reviewing this Joyo AC-40s. Joyo was kind enough to send me this, but this is in no way a sponsored video and I get to say whatever I want. I'll just do a quick walkthrough before I play with it. This amp comes at around $200 US. Some of its main feature includes dual inputs, allowing you to use both an XLR and a 1/4 inch jack simultaneously. So that's great for solo artists, for an all-in-one package. You can also connect your phone via a 3.5mm jack, USB-C or even Bluetooth. There are 3 built-in effects: chorus, delay and reverb, so pretty standard there. You also have a standard mounting point for speakers. So if you do want to project a bit further and have it mounted higher, that's an option. And I guess a big selling point is that it's got an internal battery, so you can take it on the go. As for the battery life, it's quoted for 3 hours in the specs sheet. Now this is probably where I would have wished for a bit longer given its intended use, but I guess we're gonna have to deal with this. Personally, I have never owned an acoustic amp before, and I always thought that it was just a more convenient PA system that's all built in. But maybe I was wrong. And that brings us back to our main question: do you need an acoustic amp? The biggest deciding factor would be practicality and, most importantly in my opinion, sound. Does an acoustic amp actually make your guitar sound better, or is it just about being louder? Time to find out. comments what you thought of the sound comparison. Obviously the natural sound of the guitar will always sound best, but what we are actually interested in is the difference between the PA and the amp. And personally, I found that without any tweaking, the amp has more bass, the tone is warmer, and it's a bit less clunky, so you don't hear that picking noise as much. Overall, I definitely think that the sound from the amp sounds much nicer than the raw audio from the audio interface. Now, you could get something very similar, if not identical, if you spent a bit of time changing the EQ, maybe adding some bass, maybe a compressor, a limiter. All of these things you can do it easily in any sort of software. I would think that most acoustic performers using a PA run their audio through a modulator to improve their sound. Obviously that would add some sort of cost. So at the end of the day, I think these amps are just about convenience. But coming back to our original question, let me run you through a few scenarios where I think buying an amp like that could make sense. Number 1, busker and street performers. This is probably the number 1 audience. The built-in battery means you don't need a power source, plus you can plug an additional mic for vocals, play backing tracks and set it up on a speaker stand if you need. And I would assume it's also cheaper than most PA setups, especially if you start adding some sort of modulators, pedals to improve your sound. Second scenario, playing at home. If you just want to amplify your guitar without a full PA system, an amp like this can be a great simple option for playing at home as well, and rehearsing with other instruments, for example, could work too. Third scenario, small venues and open mics. If you're playing in coffee shops or small venues without a dedicated PA, an acoustic amp like this can also be a convenient all-in-one solution. Number 4, large stages. Here I'm actually going to recommend against it. If you're playing on a big stage, going directly into a PA is usually the better move. This amp won't be loud enough to project for a large audience, and then you'd have to have a mic in front of the amp anyway that you're going to be running through a PA, so I don't think there is any point for large stage. Thanks for sticking around to the end of the video. So what we've learned today is that if you gig solo, busk or need a portable all-in-one setup, an acoustic amp can be very useful. But if you already have a PA system, play in bigger venues or record at home, you probably don't need one. As for the Joyo 40s, this sounds great for the price and is very practical. You can use it for other purposes like listening to music too and bringing it to parties. If you are interested, I'll leave some links in the description below. Let me know if you have any question in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more videos like this one. Until next time, keep playing.